All right, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Buffalo Sports Insider, your spot for everything sports, everything Buffalo. My name is KJ Zelzinski. I'm joined here today with Sean Francois, Colton Pankowitz, and Justin Cejak. Thanks for being here. If you like what we do, check out our website at buffalosportsinsider.com. We got some juicy articles on there for you right now that were posted yesterday. So please make sure to check those out. Check out our social media, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, everything. We got it. You name it, we got it. It'll be right there for you. And so I'm really excited to get into what we have today. But before we do that, make sure you drop your questions to us so that we can reach back out to you and answer those. But let's start talking about something I'm excited about. So there's been a lot of talk about turf versus grass, especially with last week and the injuries to Matt Milano, Daquan Jones, everything like that. So we've gotten some feedback from you guys that you want to hear more about it. And with more on the topic, we have Brandon Barry in the one button right now that can tell us a little bit more about the stand-up he's producing.
Hey, guys. Can you hear me okay? Can you hear me okay? Hello?
Word here. Say that one more time, Brandon. I don't know if we got all that.
All right. It's not looking like we got anything coming from Brandon Barry at the moment. So,
hey, but while we're on the topic, I mean, that thing is going to be posted tonight. So, hey, you can hear Brandon's beautiful voice on on our social media. So make sure to check those out. Thanks for being here, Brandon. We appreciate your time. And
have a good one, my guy.
Have a good one, boss man. Yeah. Hey, great start.
All right, but on the real with that turf situation, I'm a Rams fan. We talk about this pretty often. I know that the turf towards grass situation definitely is something that sits in the back of my head because Odell got hurt during that game,
right.
And it wasn't something that we wanted to see happen at all.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely with the NFL looking into getting all turf or all grass should be something that they look into.
Yeah. And again, there's a lot of stuff to talk about because even like last week they had Tottenham has a natural grass field and they rolled out turf there. And of course we get all these injuries. So, and even you have Taron Johnson, how did that man come back out on the field? Like I thought his season was over.
I went from legitimately looking at him holding his knee at the ground and saying like, that's it. Like you can only withstand so much. Exactly. And that's one of the best slot corners in the NFL that goes down right after Milano and Daquan Jones. Exactly. And you're like, all right, like just call the game.
Yeah.
I actually posted a tweet right after, and I was like, if you would have told me that all this was going to happen, before the Bills headed to London, I would have just said, just forfeit the game.
Exactly.
And Taron Johnson somehow sneaks back in, like nothing ever happened, and went on to kind of trash the playing field after.
Well, yeah, I'm excited to tease that more for you guys. Again, check out our social media tonight or tomorrow, whenever you are available. We'll have it out there, and Brandon's got a lot to say about it. So let's pop into this Week 6 preview. The New York Giants versus the Buffalo Bills. Hey, this is going to be, let's be real here. The Giants have probably been one of the worst looking teams in the NFL throughout the first 5 weeks. But this has a lot of personal stuff with it because you have Brian Daboll, former Bills offensive coordinator, returning to Buffalo once again, and he grew up in Buffalo. That's correct. West Seneca. Yeah. So again, he's coming back home, and it's going to be good to have him here. Again, I know players like Josh Allen have so many fond things to say about him and how he helped him grow as a player. So excited to see him back. But again, that is going to be the Bills are going to be without Matt Milano and Daquan Jones, and a handful of other people. But thankfully,
the Giants will be out of players as well. I think that's where we should be.
You can see, that is true.
Will definitely be out of players as well, in my opinion, from the way I've been hearing. Ways looking, Saquon still possibly out.
Yes.
Darren Waller could potentially be out, and he's one of the high targets for Daniel Jones. So. Daniel Jones is also one of those people questionable to play. That's Tyrod Taylor that's going to be at that home. Then
you mean Tyrod? Oh, Tyrod. Yeah, that's right.
Anywho, it's looking like everything is built up for the Bills to just dominate and win this game, which is kind of looking like a low-key trap game in my opinion. Because what do we say about the Bills then if they lose this game with a lackluster Giant squad?
Yeah.
You can't drop this one, right? This is
right. No, surely you can't drop this.
This is a layup for the Bills, in my opinion. The Giants, obviously, you said it looked like one of the worst teams in the NFL to start the year, and this actually might be the legitimate worst offensive line I've ever seen in my
Dude,
time as an NFL
Like
fan.
Evan, how did Evan Neal
So
get into the NFL?
Evan-
Have you seen these clips?
Well,
Like,
he's,
they are
he's
just-
been out with a hamstring injury,
Yeah,
and
sure.
to follow that up, he probably won't play. JMS, John Michael Schmitz, probably won't play. There's a couple more offensive linemen on there,
Yeah.
and they already allow. Daniel Jones is sacked 15.6%
That is
of his dropbacks.
So insane.
That's worst, obviously the most in the league.
Right.
And if you want to combine that with his interception percentage,
Yeah,
he's
see-
throwing a pick or sack on 1 out of 5,
Exactly.
pass attempts.
Well, see, even my thing with this, right, is even if you have, like, you're saying Evan Neal has a hamstring injury, right? There's there's stuff that's like not like related to that where he's just missing people running on the side of him. Or
I also
blocking his
don't
own
know. I don't
teammates,
know
like,
if that you're talking about the viral clip where he just.
dude.
I don't know if that was.
what
I think that
happened?
was a different assignment. I don't think he was
Okay.
supposed to block him. I think there was a double on the interior
Right.
line in there. But still, I mean, how do you let that happen?
But it's
That's what I'm
not an
saying.
awareness
Even
thing on
that,
the offensive
yeah.
lineman because I'm an offensive lineman, and if I see someone that's hot on my left or my right, I'm saying that guy's hot. You guys got to know that he needs to be
Yeah.
picked up.
I don't know if
see
they
no
had. I don't know if they had a
indication
chip
of
or
him
a
making
running
that
back
call at
back there though. I don't know.
It was
Yeah.
just a free lane to the quarterback.
But
That's all.
it's historically bad for a team that has spent decent draft capital, right? Andrew Thomas was a
The
top 10
most
pick.
first round
Evan Neal
picks
was a
in the
top 10
past
pick.
years.
And it's like, wow, how is it this bad? I actually
Right.
feel bad for Daniel Jones.
Me too.
But I mean, also to
Yeah.
the same tune, this guy's getting what, $40 million a year now.
Yeah, it's a weird situation over with the Giants. But again, that's one of our key matchups when we're talking about the O line is the dominant, as I think Ronan likes to call it, the dominant Bills D line
Mhm.
has just been feasting this year. And again, against probably the worst O line that they've gone up against. Like, I send out some prayers for Daniel Jones before this game because
Yes.
I mean,
We see AJ Epinesa coming off the edge, Ed Oliver up the middle.
Von Miller.
yeah. And let's talk about
Leonard
Greg
Floyd.
Rousseau too, because is Greg Rousseau going to play?
He was limited today in practice, still with that foot injury. This is the first injury report released to the week.
Yeah,
it comes out on Wednesday. It's still early. We don't know. And for the same tune, we don't know about the Giants yet. We don't know
it's
if
a walkthrough. It's
Right.
it's a walkthrough.
Exactly.
But today, the only player that didn't practice was Dane Jackson, and then Kincaid, Knox, Rousseau were limited, and then Balin Spector is back.
Yes.
from his
It's good to see that our tight ends are limited because having no tight ends would not be good.
I'll be shocked. I'll be shocked if Kincaid takes the
Yeah.
field though,
Well,
because
Yeah,
no,
there's a concussion.
that's what I was
protocol.
gonna say.
I only think one player, maybe nobody, has been in concussion protocol. It's different because he played the rest of the game, but he woke up with concussion symptoms.
Right.
Nobody has been in concussion protocol and played the next
played
game.
the next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm fine. Let him take his week off. Again, I'd rather have him back like for the games that we need
Yeah.
like those players for. Again, now I mean you can make the argument you need every game to kind of light it up. But I mean, again, against the Giants, this one's kind of looking like a wash. I'd rather have him sit out a week and
And I
not
hope the
not
Bills don't have your mindset right now because that's what it's looking like. Everybody's just looking past this week and already looking to week 7. I
exactly.
hope they're not doing the same
Well,
thing.
Exactly. Take a week.
if Saquon Barkley isn't playing, they can look past him all day
Oh,
long.
sure.
It won't,
Yeah.
it won't
Football
matter.
is football.
But the
Anything
Bills,
can happen
if
anytime.
Saquon Barkley plays, the Bills have struggled immensely against
Yeah.
every explosive rusher they played.
Another one of our matchups.
ETN,
yeah.
I mean, we're going to get into it, but ETN, Brees Hall, they didn't struggle against Jacobs or
Actually,
not at all.
Brian Robinson, and I wouldn't consider those two explosive
H.M.
runners. So and HM.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we're going to get into it, but
Yeah.
I'm excited to talk about this.
Yeah, no, me too. Again, I think and that one's going to be it's a big if. I mean, players going down all over the NFL right now. I mean, hey, I can look at my fantasy, right, and you just see
Lot of
everyone on the bench. Yeah,
IR.
Yeah, it's like it's crazy. I
I
mean, you
have
have
one
Justin
league right
Jefferson
now where I have
going.
7 running backs. I'm sorry I cut you off.
No, you're good.
Just 4 of them with D on the bench.
That's what I'm saying.
Doubtful.
I mean, everybody going down around the league. So, I mean, if you do have Saquon Barkley, they have a chance, right? But I mean, other than that,
Their
Passing
defense
offense
isn't
is-
even good either.
their defense, yeah, which is another thing I wanted to get
Kayvon
into as
Thibodeau
well.
hasn't been playing like a top 5 pick.
Exactly. Last
Yeah.
year he was, and now he's kind of just been a big.
I'd say the only
question.
person I'd be weary of on that defense is like Xavier McKinney and
Sure.
Dexter Lawrence.
Yeah, Dex Lawrence too against an O line that has been pretty formidable up until I don't want to say up until last week, but I feel like last week was the first time that we saw some struggle out of.
I think it
them
was
where-
mostly mental lapses by the offensive line.
Yes. Yeah, and I think, yeah, exactly. Osiris Torrance, with his first 2 penalties, his only 2 penalties of the year. So that has kind of been interesting. But Spencer Brown's been pretty decent. Now, where does Dex Lawrence play? Is he interior?
He's interior. He's going to be your nose tackle, but the thing is he can rush the passer too. So
Yes.
it's going to be a big day for Mitch Morris and the boys.
Yeah, no. Really kind of excited to see that lineup because again, that's where the biggest fault or the biggest matchup would be because otherwise you have other positions that are kind of unevenly matched. Stuff like a young cornerback core of the Giants versus, Stephon Diggs, who's been putting up 100-yard games, and Gabe Davis, who was on a 4-touchdown streak throughout four games, right?
Yeah.
Past 4 games. Yeah. So
that's how you get a streak going, right?
you ain't wrong. You ain't wrong. I'm not gonna fault you on that, but seriously crazy. And again, going back to the O-line, shout out Brandon, who just let us know Allen is 5th in passing yards through 5 weeks. So
Yeah, he caught up fast. I think he was 11
Yeah.
going into this week. So
exactly.
For a bad game, he put up 303 last game. So
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. His QBR was like 100 something. Like he was above.
wasn't on
Trevor Lawrence.
Allen.
Yeah, he's
Wasn't
still-
on Allen.
Exactly. Not at all. And we talked about this last week too. But even those interceptions, like I'm fine with an arm punt because
On
it's
third
not
down?
on third
No,
down.
I'm throwing that ball 99 times out of 99, dude. It's Stephon Diggs one-on-one.
Exactly. And even Diggs owned up to it and said,
Yeah.
hey, that's on
Because
me.
when I
Like,
saw
had
the
to
play,
rest
I
it.
definitely did agree. I think that Diggs could have adjusted better on the play rather than it just chalking up to Josh Allen. Could have thrown it further and then Diggs would have caught it in the end zone. That's what I was thinking as well.
He underthrew him a bit, but it was still 60 air yards under it. And my next question that I want to get off topic just for a second is if CMC's play drops off somehow God forbid injury, is Stephon Diggs next up to win Offensive Player of the Year?
Really?
Is he? I'm asking. I don't know the odds. I doubt that they're in his favor.
Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah,
I would
he's had a
say
really
Tyreek
good
Hill.
season too.
He's
But
only
again,
player,
if what if Tyree falls off?
Diggs
is
is the only player in the NFL that has 4 100-yard games to a name. this
Yeah.
season.
I
So,
believe Tyreek Hill
Future
has
Wall
4
of Fame.
150-yard games.
really.
Yeah.
Nah. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm
I
wrong.
mean, someone he had 200 somewhere. So
Yeah. No. I was just gonna say that. Yeah, I think he's been super explosive in the season. So
And y'all know I love
if
Diggs,
CMC's
so-
not in the picture, sure, but that man has just been lighting it up in San Fran recently. So, again a lot of stuff to look at for this game. But before we get off this topic, I want to ask you guys for your final predictions, starting with Deshaun. What are we thinking for the final score here?
I think that the Bills are going to come out very lackadaisical because it is the Giants, and I think they're not going to take them as serious as they should. So I see it being a 21-10 game.
Sure.
Bills win.
I'm gonna. That's the worst point differential and worst yard differential in the league. I'm gonna say, like, honest to God, 38 to 14.
Okay, sure.
I have been the opposite of what I've wanted to happen has happened every week so far.
Yeah,
I'm taking the Giants 99-0.
Yeah.
No, if I'm being for real, it's gonna be. They're at home. It's prime time. They're gonna be in the color rush.
And I was
red
about to say they're in the
uniforms.
color rush. Them boys are dangerous.
It's gonna be a blowout. I don't even want to put a score on it. It's gonna be a blowout though.
Yeah, I'll go with 38-10 here. I think again this is another Bills revenge week. We saw what they did to the Raiders after they lost to the Giants or Jets rather. So I'd take them 38-10. I wonder if they feel as evil as Dalian and the Sabres do in their black and red. I wonder if they feel as evil in the color rush. But again, another time for another day. But we're gonna take a quick break here in the studio. Before we do, make sure to send your questions so that we can answer them when we come back. But when we do come back, we'll be covering the Sabres overview for the season. Really excited about this one. So here's a message from our partners over at AAA.
You wouldn't do that. So why do you do this? Distracted driving kills an average of 9 people and injures over 1,000 every day in America. Put down your phone. Lives depend on it. Don't drive intoxicated. Don't drive intoxicated. A sobering message from AAA.
All right, welcome back to Buffalo Sports Insider. We got Sarah joining us now. Really excited to have you back. How you doing?
I'm glad to be back.
Good to hear. Good to hear. All right, so let's get into kind of the season overview. As again, that does start tomorrow night against the New York Rangers at home. Really excited for this one. But let's take a step back in time here. Let's recap the 2022-2023 season a little bit because it ended. I mean, it was a really great season all around, but they were one game off from making that playoff spot, where the Panthers ended up going all the way to the end to the Stanley Cup. And I mean, they lost to the Golden Knights for Jack Eichel. That's another topic for another day. But I mean, talk to me a little bit about it. What was it like for Sabres fans to watch that?
It was definitely surreal because we had a long drought of going to playoffs or coming as close as 1 point. But like, if we didn't have that losing streak, we probably would have definitely made it. But then our team was constantly injured. We were out tough. We were out Darlene. Thompson was in and out. One of our key players that kind of shifted us on and off. And we were still unsure about our goalies. So now. But our defense was lacking a lot.
That's true.
But no, definitely season is definitely watch for sure.
Exactly. Yeah. No. Again, I think you had players like Tage Thompson putting up just amazing stats throughout the season, and even towards the end of the season, I mean, Casey Middlestad was starting to come alive a little bit. Yeah. And I mean, like I said, I can go down the list of the players that we had that were making statements. But hey, you know what? They were just a fantastic team last season, especially glad to see the guys returning. The 23-man roster was released, and Sarah wrote a very good article about it that you can take a look at our website at buffalosportsinsider.com. But we'll kind of take a look through it a little bit, and I'll list some names just for you guys to get your initial reactions on. We got Zach Benson joining the team. What do we think about that?
That's big time. He earned it. That's all I have to say is he earned it.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to have a pretty – I mean, I don't know what you expect out of the guy in his rookie year. He's the youngest Sabres since what's his name? Pierre Turgeon.
I think so.
Yeah. But he's on a line with Middlestat and Greenway. It's not the same as being on a line with Thompson and Skinner. So the expectations drop a little bit, but his play in the offensive zone has been really good. I just wonder defensively how he holds up.
I agree too. He's been an aggressive player. We've seen that throughout the preseason. This guy had 7 points over 6 preseason games, so he's just involved.
Was that first in the NHL, or it was somewhere top 3 or something? I know Bedard was up there as well, but I know Benson was up there for sure.
Yeah, BSI fans, just drop that in the chat, and we'll talk about it. Go do your research. So, hey, we also want to I'm looking through this list here. We also have Erik Johnson on the team as well now. Really looking to help out the defense. I mean, what do you think about that?
Our defense definitely needs it. We unfortunately put Stillman down in Rochester, which I would have loved to see him play on our roster, because last season he came in midway. I feel like coming midway in the season, especially when we're so close to the playoffs, it's hard to kind of find your grounding. And in the preseason, he found his grounding, and he was absolutely looking fire, aggressive, which is what we need. But I'm sure in Rochester he'll develop and come back next season stronger and better.
Yeah, agree. And I think so. We have Erik Johnson there, and then not only that, but Bryson returns to the defense a little bit, and that was kind of a big question mark.
Yeah, he's going to rotate in. I think the interesting part about Erik Johnson and Clifton is that Granato indirectly, it felt like today when he spoke to the media, said those two players were brought in, obviously for their defensive play and like more specifically on the penalty kill. He said like that's their focus right now. Yeah, is just changing that mentality from last season, that he felt like it was more so, we can't let them score versus like we have to kill this penalty. Like there was so much pressure on just getting away without a goal rather than actually getting the puck back down to the opposite under the ice.
Exactly. And I mean, that was a lot. Again, the big, we've talked about it multiple times now when we bring up the Sabres, was that the defense was just a big point of contention for a lot of fans. Because again, when you have, we had Anderson last season, and I felt like between Anderson and UPL, we were leaving them out to dry. Sometimes that's kind of how we blew some games. So again, just really good to see that we're being mindful of that, and we're kind of stepping up in our defense. But you have a point you want to go on? Yeah.
I was going to say, I'm not a huge fan of the Bryson, not going to lie.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that's how a lot of people feel.
When you kind of look at how everyone described the players that we put on our roster, they all seem really great and a good fit for the team. When you look at Bryson, it was based off kind of potential that Renato saw. I feel like we don't need potential he saw. I feel like we need more strong people like Stillman or like
exactly. Is Jacob Bryson the Kaiir Elam of the Sabres? Is he the project that
not exactly the same draft cap?
I think people are giving up on Elam, but I think that Jake Bryson is probably the least liked Sabre on that 23-man roster right now. So
that's
I would be.
It's a good opportunity to prove himself, though.
I know, absolutely. I agree with you.
For sure.
I do want to bring up maybe a couple last names here. So we do have obviously Devin Levi, man. So let's talk about Levi in two ways here. Last season, fantastic guy, played 5 games, right? No, maybe 7? 8. Oh, what am I talking about? So played 8 games, did pretty good. Really impressed Sabres fans and staff, coaches, all that. Now he's leading the team. This last preseason game, though, was a little rough. Yeah. It was a little rough against that.
Defense was a little lacking. I do say so. That's not all I'm
exactly.
saying. There's definitely
no, I agree with you.
yeah.
I think that's even flashing back to when UPL was in the net for the first time. There was stuff that got away from him, but he was left out to dry a lot. So, and again, it's just preseason that we're talking about.
Yeah.
So, how much do you really put on to Levi giving up 7?
No, I'm not worried about it. This guy, he's a stud for a reason. We saw it when it counted last year, when they were actually actively making a push for the playoffs. He was incredible.
Oh.
So, I have no worries, and I think he'll prove it very quickly against the Rangers. This guy, he's a brick wall, and I'm not worried about it at all.
Yeah, I think this is technically his rookie season. So
Right.
I think the expectations can't be super high, just because he's going to play a lot of games for the Sabres.
Yeah.
And at some point, that wall falls, and there's going to be maybe a span of 2 or 3 games where you're like, oh, it's him. But if the defensive play doesn't step up from last year,
Exactly.
it would be incredible to not see some kind of regression.
And we've been saying that a lot, or at least I've been saying that a lot, is that it's all about consistency too. Because hey, he played really good in those 8 games, but can he play a full NHL season? That's kind of been the big
I'd be willing to
question.
say he's probably top 5 in Calder odds. He's got to be, because it's Bedard, Fantilli, and Logan Cooley, and then who else would it be above him?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I'm really excited to see him play. But also, they brought back Eric Comrie and UPL. Who do you think? Have they mentioned who's backing him up yet?
I don't think they've given an official statement.
So what's your take on it? Who do you think is playing second fiddle to Levi?
I don't want to say the experiment on UPL is done, but I kind of
I think it's going to be Comrie.
Yeah, I think so too.
And I think UPL will get, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 games in there.
Mhm.
Maybe, unfortunately, the injury or whatever it is, that's just something that happens, or maybe some extra, rest. But I think it's mainly going to be Levi and then Comrie.
Yeah, I agree with you. So those are just some names that I really wanted to talk about for this 23-man roster. Also, I kind of want to get in more into the bigger scale of things of who needs to perform this season, other than, we can dig into defense. We've already kind of hammered them down a little bit, but who needs to step up and perform specifically this season? Because I'll start off. I think Mitzi, Casey Middlestat, needs to continue that. That push that he was making towards the end of the season. Because
he's got any preseason games.
He is starting to come alive.
What do you think flipped for him? His gradual increase in his skill.
Yeah, I really, I couldn't tell.
Wasn't he playing up a line? Well, last year he was playing up a line. Maybe I just built some kind of confidence.
Exactly.
Maybe
Maybe
I know he's playing online with Benson too sometimes.
Mhm.
So he's definitely getting more comfortable with the
Yeah.
team for sure.
Right.
like maybe he was getting comfortable. Maybe he was understanding that, hey, the playoffs are in reach, so I got to put the team on my back and do something about it.
Yeah.
Who knows? So
To kind of conclude for who I want to say now is just the defense overall. I just want to see
Yeah.
the defense get better with all the new additions, Eric Johnson, Connor Clifton,
Yep.
all those guys. I just want to see more chemistry and just a better shot for our goalies.
exactly, re-signed Dalsey too. Really excited to see him back. And have they? So on the lines, who did they name for pairs?
It's Dahlin and Samuelson, Power and Yoki Haru, and Clifton and Eric Johnson.
I like that.
Yeah.
I can live with that. Yeah, that's pretty good. So I'm excited to see how they turn out. But does Tage break his record from last season?
Yeah,
Do you think
he played probably, I forget what it was, probably a fifth of the season where he was, he said he was playing through injury.
Right. Do you think?
He got 94 points last season. So I feel like if he didn't get those injuries last season, especially so close to the end of the season,
Exactly.
he probably would have easily broke 100.
That's what I'm saying. I think I agree with that. I think he's still up there for one of the best players in the NHL, obviously.
He's
So
ranked 6th, so.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Hey, you know what? Maybe he'll get 6 goals in a game this season. We're just waiting to see it. I'm really excited. So hey, I think that just about concludes it. Really excited to see again the Sabres tomorrow at KeyBank playing the New York Rangers. Sabres hockey is back, so
We'll be there live.
Yeah, exactly. We will be there live. It's going to be me, Sarah, Colton there. You get to check out more content from us. Check out our website at buffalosportsinsider.com. And also check out our social medias, as I'm sure we'll be posting so much from there as we go to KeyBank tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for joining us. This has been KJ Zelzinski, Sarah Terriel, Colton Pankowitz, Justin Cejak, and Deshaun Francois, wherever he is, Brandon Barry as well. Thank you guys so much. Please stay safe. Be good to each other. Have a great week, guys. Take care.